Welcome again to the big match, where today we see those men of Argentina, Osvaldo Ardiles and Ricardo Villa, in action for Spurs, and we talk to them in the dressing room after the game against Chelsea. So Spurs against Chelsea, that's our main match, and what a skillful and entertaining game it was. Also today from the second division, Leicester City against newcomers Cambridge United, the team that surprised Brighton in midweek, and then off to Scotland for the Edinburgh Derby game between Heart of Midlothian and Hibernian, a match with a great finish to it, where 2 players were sent off. So there's no shortage of controversial and quality action today, when we shall also be giving you the chance to vote in the first of our Big Match Personality of the Month competitions, where you have a chance to go with England to their European Championship match against Denmark in Copenhagen next month. And you'll let us too. As usual then, we have an hour packed with a variety of things. We start by going across to White Hart Lane. As you know, we like to take you behind the scenes occasionally to show you football things that you wouldn't normally see from the terraces. Yesterday, Spurs kindly allowed us to take a camera into their car park as their players arrived. And first on the scene, the 2 men that so many had come to see. On the left, Ardiles, and behind him there, Villa, the Argentinians. And naturally, they were the target straight away for the autograph hunters. Meanwhile, the Chelsea coach had arrived. Here's their manager, Cancellato. And the rival manager, Keith Birkinshaw of Tottenham. Tense moments these for the managers, dealing with the media, sorting out their team problems. Chelsea players, an autograph from Peter Bonetti, a whistle from Tommy Langley, looking very relaxed indeed. Spurs fullback John Gorman's brought his children with them. Here's his son Nicholas, daughter Amanda was there as well. Chelsea kit and the Chelsea defender Steve Wicks. That flying Chelsea winger Clive Walker, again a player looking very relaxed indeed, but looking very businesslike indeed, the Chelsea skipper Ray Wilkins. Not forgetting the Spurs skipper Steve Perryman. Well, the crowds are gathering. They've got their tickets. And within 45 minutes, both sides were ready for the action. And here's Chelsea led out by Ray Wilkins. And Spurs with their skipper, Steve Perryman.
Hold out. Come on, Rod. Come on, Neil, give it.
So welcome to White Hart Lane, this amazing atmosphere with the Tottenham ticker tape welcome. And it really is still a novelty to see those 2 great Argentinian players on an English field and in a Tottenham shirt. Osvaldo Ardiles, who played such an important part in his country's World Cup triumph, that artistic little player and a real crowd pleaser. And Ricardo Villa, twice a substitute in those World Cup finals and scorer of the goal that brought a point for Spurs at Nottingham Forest last Saturday. So they link up in this Spurs side that shows changes from the team beaten by Aston Villa in midweek. Peter Taylor is injured, Ian Moores is out, John Duncan comes back to the attack, and Neil McNabb, so good last season, gets a recall to the midfield. But Chelsea will have a good English answer in midfield to Tottenham today. Ray Wilkins, their captain. What a battle it's going to be with Ardiles for midfield supremacy this afternoon. Ray leads this Chelsea side. It's the one that gained a fine victory at Wolverhampton in midweek when Tommy Langley scored the only goal. Manager Cancellato was able to name this side after defender Gary Locke recovered from an ankle injury. The referee today is Tom Bune of Sussex, and after all the waiting, the crowd was beginning to gather around about breakfast time today. It's time for some action. So the Argentinians go into action here at White Hart Lane, and it's Chelsea in a change strip of yellow shirts with green shorts and yellow socks who are attacking the goal to our right. And Danes needed to be getting there fairly quickly. We apologise if there's something of a clash if you're watching in black and white. Spurs in the slightly darker shorts and the slightly whiter shirts. And Hoddle spraying this ball to Villar straight away, but not into the path of McNabb. And Wilkins can pick it up and fling a long one out there towards Walker. Last occasion these two sides met was 1975, when Chelsea were on their way down to the second division. A really crucial battle here when Ray Wilkins, in fact, skipper Chelsea. He'd just been made skipper at that time at the age of 18, and what an influence he's had on that club since then. Now Perryman, flicked in again there towards Armstrong. That's a goal kick. Big Irishman, Jerry Armstrong. Now operating with John Duncan up front. Locke. Swain trying to get on that, but in fact he was pushing Gorman as Gorman went for the header. It's a free kick for Tottenham. Perryman. Perryman back to Lacey. Gorman was free on this side. Perryman spotting Hoddle over there. Villar after this one. And Steve Wicks was taking no chances with that. Now Ardiles. Villar. Oh, good play by Villar. Ardiles. Oh, a lovely combination here, and it's robbed for a goal! Duncan, the man who will be credited with it. The work undeniably, though, of the two Argentinians, and Spurs are in the lead. So the joy then for Tottenham, but how it was made by the two Argentinians. A lovely back heel there by Villar. Beautiful fleeting skills by Ardiles, and a cross that finished off with Duncan putting it beyond Bonetti. And the crowd are chanting Argentina, as you can probably hear, well aware, the Spurs fans, that that is a major contribution by these two Argentinians who cost between them £700,000. A goal that was clearly made in Argentina and scored by John Duncan of Scotland and Tottenham. Oh, and now a chance maybe for Chelsea. It's into the net and put there by Ken Swain. What a reply by Chelsea. 1-1. A moment of hesitation, and the man who kept his head superbly there was Ken Swain. He took it beyond Barry Daines and into the roof of the net. 2 goals in a minute, and the score: Spurs 1, Chelsea 1. Villar brought down by Hay. A free kick for Tottenham. Hoddle.
Chelsea's goal was scored in 9 minutes, 13 seconds by Ken Swain.
Harris, Wilkins, Droy, Locke, Wilkins again. Locke. Curl one in towards the near post there, but now finds Wilkins. Good play there by Ray Wilkins, but in the end it was Perryman who got it away, but the whistle had gone and it looks a free kick for Chelsea for the foul on Swain. It's going to be a yard outside the Tottenham penalty area. So 4 men in the wall: Velia, McNabb, Gorman and Hoddle. And behind Gary Danes behind them, and behind the ball at the moment are Wilkins, Stanley and Walker. One more man in the wall, Steve Perryman. Now, can they find a bender? Can they find a blaster? Can they find some way of beating Barry Danes? My word, they couldn't, but it was a tremendous shot by Stanley. Well saved by the Spurs goalkeeper. Now it's Armstrong on his way. And a free kick. And quite rightly given. Ray Wilkins seemed to be shoving at Armstrong there. But at the other end, what a very good shot it was by Gary Stanley, beautifully taken and expertly punched away by Barry Danes. So Ardiles with the free kick now at the other end of the field. Allowed to go a long way. Velia just pumping it in there again, and Chelsea's Steve Wicks getting it away. Gorman, Stanley, Wilkins. This is going to be for Perryman. Pace, changing the direction of it a little bit, bringing it to this side of the field and finding Ricardo Velia. Gorman. Hoddle, trying to chip it for Velia again. Lacey winning it. Swain, it's given to Hoddle. A little lucky there. I don't think Glenn Hoddle meant that pass to find Gorman, but it went into the space and Gorman quickly filled it. Here's Ardiles. Hoddle again. McNabb. Duncan. Now, can he turn? Can he get a shot? Hoddle. McAllister. McNabb coming wide again for Gorman, in for Ardiles. Played in nicely there for Duncan. And a back heeler for Ardiles, just tucking it wide. But good combination. And Ardiles clearly beginning to find his feet on English soil. One or two things he's done this afternoon, and there he used that little bit of acceleration. It was a good, swift ground pass there for Duncan, played back out to him. He took it on, but nicked it just wide. It's now with Velia, back for Gorman, and Gorman looking around to see what he can make of it. Instead, it's Duncan now. And now McNabb. And now Ardiles. Curling one, but curling it wide. Confidence really growing. This likeable Argentinian, not at all shy about having a shot there. Stanley, ball played beautifully there for Walker, who's played onside by Lacey. A long curling cross, too high for Gorman. Here's Swain, played back again. Wilkins hammering it straight though at Hoddle. That could have been very dangerous indeed for Tottenham. McNabb fighting and winning. Hoddle. What a lovely ball there for Ardiles. He's got 3 men up front. Again, that bouncy stride. And the pass for Duncan. Armstrong couldn't quite pick it up. And Wilkins plays it along that line for Walker. Plays another first-time one towards Langley, but Langley was beaten by Perryman. Here's McNabb. And now with Hoddle. And now spreading it this side as Gorman takes it up to Velia. I think Velia fooled himself there, but Spurs keep possession, and here's Hoddle. A little chip coming in. Duncan hopeful of getting on behind it. In fact,
A nod down for Villa coming in quickly wouldn't have come amiss there for Tottenham. Another delightful ball though played in by Hoddle. And that would have been a spectacular goal by Duncan. McAllister. A long way back for Perryman. Spurs playing with a little more confidence than they showed when they were really dumped on the floor by Villa in midweek. Chelsea, who have a home defeat against Everton and a victory at Wolverhampton so far to their credit this season. Villa now for Tottenham to Ardiles. All played on beautifully by Ardiles for Villa. Now can he turn and do something about it? Armstrong with a shot! And again the Argentinians have made it. And Jerry Armstrong will finish it off on the stroke of half-time. Two Tottenham goals, both made by these Argentinians. The first one finished off by Duncan, that one finished off by Armstrong. What a lovely ball played there by Ardiles, and how well it was played back also for Jerry Armstrong. And Armstrong hammered that into the roof of the net. So Villa, who helped to lay on that goal that puts Spurs into the lead. Are Chelsea coming back again though? Langley, and a good save by Danes. Well, just as they did at the start of the game, they very nearly replied within a minute. That shot by Langley, well stopped by Barry Danes. It's a goal kick. Well, Tottenham are beginning to get some dividends from their £700,000 outlay. It was Villa who scored the important goal at Nottingham last week, and between them Ardiles and Villa have produced the two goals for Duncan and Armstrong for Tottenham today. So it's been Villa who's had a very good first half, much better than the game against Aston Villa, and little Ardiles, who has looked so skillful, so sprightly and so capable of pulling off the improbable, that has given Spurs that little bit of an edge in this first half against Chelsea. The goals then by Duncan and by Armstrong for Tottenham, by Swain for Chelsea. A half-time score then at White Hart Lane, which reads Spurs 2, Chelsea 1, and we'll be back.
The big match, part 2, Spurs versus Chelsea. They kick the ball and it goes in the back of the net. Take one.
Welcome back to White Hart Lane. Keith Birkinshaw just standing up there in the back row, the Spurs manager, with Pat Welton, his assistant, alongside him. I would have thought very pleased with the Argentinian contribution to that Tottenham first half, leading Chelsea by 2 goals to 1. Spurs now attacking the goal to our right. Ardiles and Villa, the men who made those 2 Tottenham goals for Duncan and for Armstrong, with Swain having replied for Chelsea. 2-1 then to Spurs. Ardiles, Villa, Ardiles, here they go again. Duncan coming away from the goal, and Wilkins doing a good job there for Chelsea, as indeed he did the whole of that first half. Perryman nudging it back to Barry Daines. Lacey. But certainly with the way that Chelsea came back after the first goal, and indeed very nearly got another one after that second goal, they are not to be taken lightly. An offside there against Duncan. And indeed with the likes of Ray Wilkins to inspire them, on the ball at the moment for them. Chelsea have a lot to offer yet. Playing it almost casually there for Droy. Langley having a tussle with Lacey. Wilkins again, look at that beautiful ball. Played first time there for Locke. Here he is again. Played in first time, this time for Hay. And Locke again, curling in a good one to Swain once more, and that's another goal! 2-2. Within 2 minutes of the start of the second half, Chelsea have got back on terms, and I think Spurs will look around themselves and say that was a sloppy one to give away. As that long cross came looping in, Swain, really not severely challenged, was able to get up and then place it almost gently, it seemed, wide of Barry Daines, and Spurs 2, Chelsea 2. Didn't get a touch on that, but Wilkins has here. And what a ball! And it looked like handball though by Walker, and indeed it was. Again a superb ball though, played by Wilkins. Very nearly caught Tottenham out, but it was a handball by Clive Walker. Wilkins. Towards Langley, played back by Gorman. Oh my word, what a mistake by the Spurs number 3, and it very nearly cost Tottenham another goal. The pass by Gorman, but in fact was intercepted by Langley. He turned and hit it at once, and Daines grabbed it above his head. McNabb. Swain after him, but he finds Ardiles. Now Villa. That was a great shame, and I think Tom Bune, the referee, would be the first to admit it. In fact, with respect, he's probably compounding the error now by not allowing Spurs to take it quickly, even though they stole a couple of yards. Oh, and now he's compounding it still more by making a right fuss about it. I think he'll be the first to admit that it was a mistake in the first place, because Villa, although fouled, was free, and now Chelsea have got just everybody behind this ball. Ardiles. Does look exciting when he gets on the move, does Ardiles. There's Hoddle, he looks pretty useful too, and there's a little chip just over. The sign of things to come really for the Tottenham fans. Combination of Ardiles and Hoddle there, because Ardiles, when he really gets on the move, those little strides of his and the beautiful skills, and then the pass to Hoddle and the chip that was just too high. Harris to Wilkins. Beautiful skill there. Played with the outside of the boot, but just nicked off a Tottenham player. Here's Wilkins again. There's another pass. Inch perfect again. What a brilliant game. And Locke turning it in once more. Perryman away to Villa. McNabb. Game opening up beautifully at this phase. Hoddle. Played in again for Neil McNabb, but Wicks is there, given away to Ardiles. Played for Villa. Ardiles supporting him. and played for McNabb. Oh, what a beautiful bit of skill. Well, McNabb has contributed greatly to this game as well, and Villa was aware that the midfield man was coming into a striking position. The ball wasn't played all that kindly, in fact, towards McNabb, but beautiful skills enabled him to get a good shot in, and that wasn't far off the mark. Villa, in fact, challenging Droy in the air and winning. McNabb trying to get Hoddle on his way, and Hoddle hitting it first time, looking up, spotting Armstrong. Now, can Armstrong get in there? Stanley, no. And Duncan brought down. Morris and the die-hard Tottenham fans for a penalty, but it was never on. It didn't even cross Mr. Bune's mind. But Spurs now get a corner, which our dealers will take. Played short here for Hoddle. Hit in first time, not with great accuracy. McAllister now for Gorman. Armstrong. Oh, that was hit in with considerable power until Wicks got in the way. Armstrong again. Chipped in this time. That was a good piece of play there. Villa. My word, he hit that well. And a beautiful save by Bonetti from Duncan. First point about that was Villa's crashing shot. And then when it came to Duncan, a beautiful piece of goalkeeping by Peter Bonetti. Ardiles with the Tottenham corner. Again, not a very good one. Hit straight at Ray Wilkins. Langley getting past McNabb. McNabb's after him. No foul. Wilkins again. Mark that one down. That's the first ball that he's wasted, I think, in the game so far. And we've only been going something like 65, 68 minutes. It's with Perryman. Now it's with Hoddle. In a game that is beautifully balanced and means a lot to both sides. The old pride of a local derby, but a chance for Chelsea really to get off to a good start, and Spurs to do something after that defeat by Villa, and Duncan very nearly did it. An amazing player, John Duncan. He's really not everybody's favourite, but he has this priceless knack of scoring goals. Got the first one for Tottenham today, and a man who is ever on the lookout to add to his score. Lacey, a big long header, but that'll be Bonetti's. McAllister, Duncan, Ardiles, and Armstrong. Nice ball play there by Ardiles. They play some delightful first-time balls, just as Walker did there. For Stanley. Look at the pace of this midfield man. And look at the shot and the save. That was all about pace and determination there by Gary Stanley. And with a beautiful, powerful shot at the end, which Danes did well to parry. Gorman to Duncan. Gorman again. Hoddle. Called for an accurate ball to McAllister and got it. Ardiles making himself available there, covering a lot of ground now. Here's Hoddle. McNabb trying to get a 1-2 going. It's Villa, no, it's Ardiles. And Wilkins beating him. I think Ardiles tried a little dive there, but the referee wasn't going to be fooled by that. And here's the Chelsea captain. Beautifully played inside again for Hay. Swain away on the right. Walker here going through the centre. And on the left we have Tommy Langley for Chelsea. Wow, a Great save again. A great strike too by Langley. And the shots are raining in at both ends now. Langley with that one. That would have crept just inside the post. And Danes pushing it away. So a Chelsea corner. Stanley with it, floated deep. No chances there taken, a fist away by Danes. And then Duncan woofing it away. Cancelletto on the left there, the good young Chelsea manager. Will be delighted, I would have thought, with a point, but more with the way his side have fought here today and played. There's Wilkins. Langley wanting it back again and getting it. Played there to Swain. Oh, and that was the easiest chance of the two he'd had already, and he tucked into the back of the net. That was open goal time, really, as Wilkins found it with a devastating cross. And Kenny Swain, the man on the hat-trick, screwed it wide. And Spurs were saved. In fact, it was offside, it wouldn't have counted. Duncan playing it for Villa. He's dying to get a shot in. And he has! Oh my word, and he nearly scored. Well, that was a real bit of skill there from Ricardo Villa. Looking for the chance to give himself a yard of space and a sight on goal. He found it, and he found the shot. Narrowly wide of that Chelsea post. And one stupid person on the field, chased by a policeman. But in fact the whistle has gone and the chase goes on. The referee Tom Bune has called it a day. In fact a couple of seconds early. Well, Ardiles shone today in helping to make those two Tottenham goals. Villa also shone today in helping to make those two Tottenham goals, but with respect to them, I think it was Ray Wilkins, the man who really was above them all, the Chelsea captain who inspired his team and more than deserved to run away there, number 8, the two number 8s together, that Ray Wilkins engineered that point for Chelsea with a superb display of captaincy and midfield play. A final score then here at White Hart Lane, Spurs 2, Chelsea 2.
And it really was an enjoyable game. Refreshing to see two sides committed to attacking football and also two sides showing no malice towards each other. I don't think there was a bad tackle in the whole of the game, all intent on giving good value to the crowd, which they certainly got yesterday. And what was exciting for Spurs fans was to see the two Argentinians, Ardiles and Villa, really beginning to find their feet. And in the Spurs dressing room afterwards, I spoke to them, with Ardiles still wearing the Argentine FA badge on his blazer. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the Big Match programme today. Osvaldo, if I can come to you first of all, did you enjoy the game against Chelsea today?
Yes, I enjoyed the game, but I think the Tottenham Spurs play very good.
Better than against Aston Villa last Wednesday night?
Yes, better. Today, better.
Yes. Do you feel that you and Ricardo are getting a better understanding now with the Tottenham players?
Yes, in every game, I understand Enrique very well with our friends of Tottenham. But I think in the next game, better.
It'll get better every game now?
Yes.
Yes. What is it that you found most difficult about playing in English football?
The idiom, the language. It is very difficult. I study with Ricky every day English, and 1 or 2 months I speak English.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Very well.
What do you think about the marking, the English marking of players like you?
I think that English players are very good. For example, the number 8 today of Chelsea is very good player.
Ray Wilkins, who plays for England.
Very good player, yes.
I thought they both did very well. I think the big chap is a very good player, very hard to knock off the ball. And of course Ardiles himself is fabulous in tight situations and a good user of the ball. I thought they both did very well.
Yes. You did play against him, I think, before, didn't you? In
Yes, I played against Ardiles before, I think then that was on Argentinian soil, and he seemed a bit more at home in Argentina.
Do you think it will be a good season now for Tottenham?
I think that yes.
And what do you think of the crowd, the spectators?
Very good, very well, very nice.
It's a pleasure to have you and Ricky with us, but Ricky doesn't speak any English yet. Is he learning very quickly now?
Si estás aprendiendo inglés rápido.
Bueno, recién van 4 lecciones y todavía mucho no he aprendido. Pero
He
algunas
say
palabras.
four lections, and that is a problem for the English.
Yes. But I have many...
He speak very little, but he speak.
Well, Ricardo Villa, a little more than an interested spectator there. His English, as you saw, wasn't quite up to it. But I can tell you that he'll be clearing up something for us a bit later on in the programme. But what about the Spurs manager, Keith Birkinshaw? What did he feel about the form of his Argentinians?
They're both very good players, and I think this has already been proved, and people watching the game on television, I think, will appreciate this. At Nottingham Forest, they both played very well, but then on Wednesday, a little bit disappointing, and I think people were saying to themselves, what's this fella gone and done? He's gone out to Argentina, spent all this money, and they're no better than our players. Today, I think that they've proved a point to a certain extent, and I think over the season, then it will be money well spent.
It was a gamble. Did that thought ever cross your mind that, my word, we might have got players as good here?
Not really. I've seen them in pre-season matches, and I knew that they both were very good players. And we all take a gamble in life, but I think it's a gamble that wasn't so much of a gamble as far as I was concerned. They'll prove the worth in the next 9 months.
May I ask you what you thought about Ray Wilkins today, who I thought shone as brightly as anybody in the Chelsea side?
Yeah, well, he's a good player. Give him space and time. And we're a side that tends to give people space and time. He knocks the ball about accurately, he knocks the long ball well. And he showed a lot of determination. I think he was trying to prove a point out there, that he was as good as anyone else on the field.
Did he prove that point, do you think?
To a certain extent. But I think we'd also a fellow in our side, you know, that was also out there to prove a point, and that was Neil McNabb. And I would think that he was on a par with anybody in that game.
Well, of course, you mustn't forget Chelsea. They came back well after a couple of times being a goal down. And in Ray Wilkins, they had, without question, the man of the match. His was a brilliant performance, not only in terms of captaincy, but in individual skill as well. And I asked Ray Wilkins about Chelsea's form overall this season.
We've not been playing too well at Stamford Bridge. You know, last season we had some very indifferent results, and this year against Everton we started very poorly. But you know, we can only try and keep it going.
Having watched the World Cup very closely, are you already seeing things that happened out there beginning to show themselves in the English game?
I don't really know, Brian, but up to now, you know, the 3 games we played, and there's been a very high skill factor. And I think today for a London derby, this was quite a fair match.
Yes, it was very relaxed, surprisingly. There wasn't a great deal of tension.
That's right,
about
yeah. I don't think there was a foul in the game.
No.
You know, the trainers weren't on the pitch. I think that's a good thing.
Good season for Chelsea?
Fingers crossed.
Well, they are getting it together a bit at Chelsea, and indeed at Spurs as well, even with the language problems. But spelling, it seems, is not the strong point at Tottenham. The third new player, John Lacey, spells his surname L-A-C-Y. But on his tracksuit there, look, yesterday, L-A-C-E-Y. Well, still to come on the programme today, that dramatic and controversial game between Hearts and Hibs, where 2 players were sent off. But now we go straight away into the second division for Leicester City against Cambridge United. Leicester, fresh down from the first division, and with a new manager, Jock Wallace from Glasgow Rangers. Cambridge United, first out of the 4th division, and now out of the 3rd division, up with the big boys. The pictures come from ATV. The commentator at Filbert Street at Leicester is Hugh Johns, with Leicester City in the white shorts.
Christie taking Graham with him. Ball back to Armstrong. Early one on as Williams made the run. Cut out by Fallon. It'll come back to Kelly. Good drive. Well, that must have got a touch off a Cambridge player. This has gone to a corner left side. Christie up and scores! Trevor Christie! First goal that the Leicester fans have had to cheer for their side here this season. Trevor Christie, lad who scored at Burnley last Saturday, scores here this afternoon. Easy enough goal as Armstrong lobs the ball right across the face of the goals. But it was Christie who beat the Cambridge defenders and goalkeeper to score with a neat header. Kemba. Eddie Kelly for Leicester. Whitworth making a tremendous run down the right side. Davis, little touchdown for Williams. What a good save by Fallon. Davis again, though. Free kick given against Spriggs. Well, that was a touch of the long and short of it. The wall at least a full yard more shorter than the full 10. Kelly chips it, and a great acrobatic save by Webster. Eddie Kelly, a little lazy run to the ball, just a little neat nick with the right foot. Was going into the net until Webster hurled himself across. Cousins. Fallon has joined in this attack, and Finney is in. And Fallon very nearly sneaked one in. What a good snapshot that was by big Steve Fallon. He went up to get the first challenge with the head. And then when the ball broke back to him before Kelly could react, Fallon snapped a left footer that was so close to being an equaliser. Williams helping that on. Davis is there for Leicester. Now Armstrong. Davis. Unlucky, and a break here for Bailey. Webb, the man, going with him. Can Bailey do it? Yes, he has! Alan Bailey! 1-1, a totally deserved goal for Cambridge United. Just over 39 minutes of the second half, and Alan Bailey scores his first ever goal in the second division, his 105th league goal. 1-1. All coming about because Roger Davis tripped over his own lanky legs just a few yards outside his own box. The ball then quickly transferred upfield, and Bailey on it like a flash with Webb in close support, saw his chance and snaps the goal.
Well, a very good goal by Alan Bailey, and a good point too for Cambridge. And now we come to our letter spot, and a number of letters from Spurs fans in the past week, slightly puzzled it seems, as to how they should pronounce the name of their Argentinian star, Ricardo Villa. Well, let's get it from the person who should know best of all, Ricardo himself.
Ricardo Julio Villa.
Villa. Villa.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Not with a V, but a B. Villa.
Villa. Villa.
Villa.
Yes.
Okay.
Villa.
Sounds like a cross between a B and a V. Villa it is, but I don't suppose the Spurs fans are going to worry too much as long as he goes on playing the way he did yesterday. More letters, of course, for you next week, but now we turn to that highly charged game from Scotland, when Hearts met Hibernian in the Edinburgh Derby game. Controversy and a dramatic finish, which was covered by the cameras of Scottish television. The commentators Arthur Montford and Hibbs have the white sleeves to their shirts.
This is Jeffries. Shaw sprinting forward to the edge of the box. Trying hard to get it across. Knock a run from McDonald. Doesn't control it. Donald Park will score. Donald Park puts Hearts 1 up. 9 minutes. Disaster for the Hibs defence and joy for the Hearts fans. It didn't look as if there was any danger at all there when Graham Shaw went through on that one at the edge of the box. But as it came across, McDonald came out, couldn't control it, and as it fell to Park, he drove the ball into the empty net to put Hearts into the lead. So game restarting with a drop ball, and referee booking Donald Park, the scorer of that goal, for an infringement after the drop ball had got the game restarted. And in fact he's going off. Donald Park, the goal scorer, is ordered off in the 13th minute of the second half. On to O'Brien then, as Kilgour goes up ahead. O'Brien in field. McNichol and McLeod having a little bit of a barney there. O'Brien gets involved. Also totally unnecessary. It's all sorted out. The referee and Jeffries, I think, has already been booked, so he must go off. It was booked in the 43rd minute of the first half, and the referee is ordering off Jim Jeffries, the Hearts skipper. Hearts will finish the match with 9 men. Furious finish from Hibs, but Hearts holding on with 9 men now. Now Higgins. Higgins going on the outside, obstruction. Fraser and Higgins getting involved. And what a finish this is. And a fan on the field going for the referee. And he won't last long. He's about to be ordered off as well. So a free kick to Hibs. O'Brien will take it. And we're moving up to the 90th minute of an extraordinary match. It's a goal! Ali McLeod scores!
But not the Ali McLeod, of course, that we came to know so well during the summer. 1-1 the final score. They're a bit puzzling, that first sending off of the Hearts player, though, particularly as I gather he hadn't been booked before that sending off offence. But now we come to our first Big Match Personality of the Month competition, something different really from the usual goal competitions where all players now have a chance of winning it. The managers and the fans as well, for that matter. And in this short first month of the season, we've got 4 candidates for you. And how appropriate really that all of them should come into the reckoning because they showed either honesty or great skill, 2 qualities that the game needs more than ever. Candidate A is the Ipswich manager Bobby Robson, who could hardly have been more frank when his side were thrashed by Nottingham Forest in the Charity Shield at Wembley.
We had a weakish team out and we've got punished for it. We made very bad errors. Without taking too much away from Nottingham Forest, they on the day were far superior than we were. Their left side of the field was in superb form. Robertson particularly I thought was outstanding. We couldn't stop him. I mean, he was too good for us. And they used the space behind them with Woodcock, and Wythe did quite well. And they were far better in midfield, and as a result, I mean, we were second best all the way through, apart from the first 20 minutes of the match.
Candidate B, it's Tony Curry of Leeds United, who showed some fantastic midfield skills and finishing power against Arsenal at Highbury last week.
Sunderland laid down the line for MacDonald. All turned in nicely past Cherry, but good support again, and look who it is who's supplying it. Tony Curry right back there. My word, he's having a game. Here's again Tony Curry, that little bit of acceleration, the cross coming in low. Cherry with a shot. Oh yes! Played it into trouble there. And Curry sending Eddie Gray on his way. Hawley and Arthur Graham are up. And Curry made a beautiful overlap. Oh, and what a beautiful goal by Tony Curry!
Candidate C is another England midfield man, Ray Wilkins of Chelsea, a leader with great skill, as he showed yesterday against Tottenham.
Harris to Wilkins. Beautiful skill there. Played with the outside of the boot, but just nicked off a Tottenham player. Here's Wilkins again. There's another pass. Inch perfect again. Here's Wilkins. Langley wanting it back again and getting it. Played there to Swain. Oh, and that was the easiest chance of the 2 he'd had already, and he tucked into the back of the net. That was open goal time really, as Wilkins found him with a devastating cross.
And candidate D, the partnership of Ardiles and Villa for Tottenham, those Argentinians who've lit up the scene in North London and made this fantastic goal yesterday against Chelsea.
Now Ardiles. Villa. Oh, good play by Villa. Ardiles. Oh, a lovely combination here, and it's off for a goal! Duncan, the man who will be credited with it. The work undeniably, though, of the two Argentinians.
So who should be our big match personality for August? A. Bobby Robson, B. Tony Curry, C. Ray Wilkins, or D. the combination of Osvaldo Ardiles and Ricardo Villa? Put your choice on a postcard and write one sentence why you've made that choice, one sentence only, remember, and send your postcard to this address. Big Match Personality of the Month, London Weekend Television, London SE99. First choice that agrees with our reckoning that we pick out the bag will be the winner. And for that winner, 2 tickets for England's European Championship match against Denmark in Copenhagen on September 20. You'll travel with a party organised by Hunting and Lambert Sports Group, 3 nights, tickets for the match, all expenses paid. And we'll be giving the answer next week on the Big Match. So that's it for this week then. Glad to have had you with us. Hope that you've enjoyed the football and the bits and bobs that we've put around it as well. And still one more little treat for you indeed as we say goodbye. Yesterday we had a special film camera at Tottenham to seek out the grace and skill of Osvaldo Ardiles. Next week we'll show it to you in full. But this then, for the time being, is just a taster.